Okay, some of you have been officers for a while, some of you are going into officers, but congratulations. You, it's a great privilege to bestowed on you as your club member. Sometimes it seems like you're the only one that would do it and you're the only one left, but that's, it's still a privilege to be leadership. And I'm not going to read all of this stuff you guys can read, so so here's some of our quick goals. We're going to do a little Lions history. We're going to have a brief overview of the structure of Lions and what the leadership of a standard club looks like. Going to talk just a little bit about duties and responsibilities of the officers. We'll take a very brief look at the club constitution and bylaws. Talk about meaningful projects a little bit. Talk about what constitutes a good meeting, and a really brief overview of the MyLCI, the website basically that contains where you do all the stuff for Lions related, the treasurer, the secretary especially, but there's a lot of really good information in there also. Can anybody tell you the Lions has a relatively new mission statement and vision statement within the last 10 years or less? Anybody know what those are? Anybody tell me about what those are, the Lions mission? How about that? Our mission is to empower Lions clubs, volunteers, and partners to improve the health and well-being, strengthen communities, and support those in need through humanitarian services and grants that impact lives globally and encourage peace and international understanding. How about the vision? No bites on that one? To be the global leader in community and humanitarian service. Now we know this one. Come on, somebody answer it.
We serve.
We serve. Lions now they've gone from initially they did 4 and 5 global causes. We're up to 8. These are basically what Lions Club International, or now Lions International, they've renamed it. So now we're up to 8. So these are just recommended. They're not required of any club. And we'll discuss a little how Lions Club is shaped around what clubs do. But diabetes, disaster relief, environment, humanitarian causes, hunger, vision, and youth. So these are now the 8 global causes. This is a brand new deal. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We could have full sessions on it, and there are available. But our current Lions president, who would that be? Somebody?
Lion Dr. Patty Hill.
All right. Now you can't be the only one that answers these, Jack. I need some other participation. This is a mission 1.5 is basically a 3-year project to grow Lions worldwide back to over 1.5 million Lion members. There's a whole package that goes with this, and we're not going to get into it tonight, but basically invigorating your existing clubs by inviting members, charter some new clubs, and get the word out about what we do. This is the basis of it. Like I said, it's a very in-depth. There's lots of tools available that work really well. We're just not going to dig into it tonight very much, but I just wanted to let you know that it was out there and what it's all about, or give you an overview of what it's all about. Anyway, so we said we're gonna talk some history. Everybody know we were formed in 1917 by a gentleman named Melvin Jones. The first international club was Windsor, Canada. That's the Windsor, Canada is the city that's actually south of Detroit in the United States. So first club in Montana, the Billings Lions Club, 1921. In 1925 at a convention, I believe it was in Dallas, Helen Keller challenged Lions to be Knights of the Blind. That's where we started our mission of sight and hearing, or sight anyway. 68 LCIF, the Lions Club International Foundation, was formed to be the nonprofit arm of Lions Club. 1987, the Montana Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation was formed. And there are currently about close to 49,000 clubs and 1.37 million members. We were over 1.4 for a while, but as you know, that's the big thing to get us back on growth is mission 1.5. And there we have our international president is Dr. Patty Hill. For those of you or might be newer or haven't been around for a while, we used to be part of a multiple district with Canada. And Patty Hill is from Edmonton, Canada. So we were actually endorsed her when we were part of a MD with Alberta. I think we have a touch of British Columbia and the Northwest Territories. So anyway, structure. I'm not going to read all these. Obviously, lots and lots of clubs are less than 20 members nowadays. But that's, the ideal. A new way to start clubs that they're pushing I think it's a great idea. To start a new club, you got to have 20 members, but you can start a branch club, which is a branch of an existing club with only 5 members or more. We actually started in this district. There's a club in Shelby, and there's still a branch club of what's Coot Squeak Grass now? Somebody help me out. Sunburst. And so you can start a club. They're a good little club, but there's still a branch of Sunburst at this point. They hope to grow them to 20 members and have them become their own club. We're broken up into zones.
Mike, we're going to be working coming up in the next year, big push for club branches.
Yep.
That's a big thing coming up on my end. So be ready.
It's a great way to start clubs, and then you can grow them to separate to their own. There's a lot of cases where they've started a branch and they've grown to a club that's bigger than the parent club. It's a good way to, look at starting a new club. So we have what's called zone, our next level up. So usually 3 to 8 clubs in a zone. They recommend 4, but because of the distance, Montana, we have some zones with only 3. You should have a zone chairman in your area that's contacted your club, but that's a weakness we have. We have our Montana's regions are optional, but we have 3 regions because of the size. We have 4 regions, sorry. So east, west, north, and south. A district ideally has at least 35 clubs with 1,250 active members. We have 59 clubs with 1,521 members. This was a couple of days ago that I got these numbers. I talked about multiple districts right now. We're what's called a single district. Usually a lot of districts, for example, north of us in Canada, they have a multiple districts. They have 2 districts in their multiple. So they have a north and a south that are combined then in a multiple. We have then we're broken up into what's called constitutional areas around the world. We are in Constitution Area 1, which is the United States. So that's basically the whole layout, the structure. As you can see, it's focused locally versus, or districts versus a lot of upper end management. There's hardly very little. Here's a little picture of basically how that works. You notice the club's at the center. In my mind, the club is the most important part of Lions Club. But there's how that works. Now jump into your club. Now again, there's a program I will mention a little later. It's been in Lions for quite a while, called Your Club Your Way. Lions Club is there's certain things you got to do, but not a lot of them. As a club, there are certain things that Lions says you got to do this. Most of it is optional. You don't have to do any of the 8 service things, but this is a sample structure. So typically you would have a president, for some vice presidents, hopefully. Again, it depends on the size of your club and things like that, but membership chairperson, service chairperson. Most clubs have a secretary and treasurer, or a secretary/treasurer. These are just some of the recommended marketing communication. We, as Lions, do marketing particularly badly for the most part. We don't let the world know that we're out here and what we do and all the things we offer to the people in our communities. So, if your club has enough people to fill these roles, that's a fabulous thing. Any questions so far? Comments? We're getting down to the club level. These are some pretty general stuff. So your president, the head person, presides over all the meetings that they're available to do. Board of directors, club, again, board of directors, smaller clubs may not have a board of directors. It's always nice because then you can avoid your meetings where you can have a board of directors or a general meeting to handle the business of the club, and then have meetings for more informational, more fun, more stuff that's not boring to your club. So it's a good board of directors is a good thing to have anyway. Hopefully you have some vice president, at least one, so they know what they're coming into and everything else. A lot of times vice presidents will be head of some committees. And of course you got your secretary. And again, we're going to go through upcoming Thursday this week is the secretary training, very specific to secretary, and she'll spend a lot of time on how to do the computer side of the stuff, because that role is particularly heavy in the computer side. And then next week we do the treasurer on Monday, or no, the treasurer on Tuesday, and the president on Monday. Oh. Hopefully you have some immediate past presidents. We have in our club, we tend to stick with a president for a while, unfortunately. But you want to make sure that these people have a role in keeping the club going. Membership chair, really important if you can do it, to have someone that's really focused on getting new members, keeping existing members. Service, that's what we do, we serve. Hugely important. Again, these two, in my mind, are very important roles for your club, because service is what we do. Our clubs, and mine is particularly bad at it. We don't do a lot of hands-on service stuff. We collect money, we sell tickets and we give money away. We do some hand-on service, but not as much as I would like to see, but that it gets into that rut and stuff, so it's important to have someone that's focused on that. Lions Club International has a huge wealth of information on their website. They have spent a lot of money making this stuff available. And I will send out an email with containing all these links and a link to a bunch of other documentation and information. But this is you guys can see the website on my screen now.
Yeah, well, it just says managing a club, so I
Right.
don't know.
So this is Lions Club International website. The best way to find something on Lions Club International website is not use this little search button here. It's to go to a search engine you use like Google and Google Lions Club International. Like I said, I'll send you this link. So this is what's called the Member Resource Center and its leadership. So some of this stuff is relatively new. For example, here's the constitutional bylaws. We're going to look at it real briefly here. Standard club structure we just saw, but these are relatively new documents. This plan for your club success is actually part of the curriculum for getting new members or growth in Lions in general. It's a I've got it here somewhere. And this club troubleshooting guide is just a relatively recent out there, and it's really, really interesting. It has a lot of embedded stuff. Oops, down I got it. So anyway, and here's a little thing about Mission 1.5. And then there's a whole section here on each club officer stuff. It has a whole deal. There's a bunch of recordings. Anyway, huge, vast amount of information that's really at your fingertips, including these ebooks. They're buried in here. I didn't change the slide to reflect this updated information yet, but so basically an ebook is an electronic book full of links and information and documents and everything else for each one of these roles. Okay, now we're going to jump in. That's the link we were just at, was this club off resources. Like I said, I'll send you these links so you have access to them. Yes, Rolly.
I'm at montanalions.org.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should go there, of course. But there's a link tab there, and there's links to the LCI and
Right.
my LCI.
And I'll send you
sign up
the
on those.
direct links to these.
But everybody needs to sign up and remember your passwords.
Yep.
Very important.
We'll go through that here in a bit too. There is what's called the Standard Club Constitution of Bylaws. Your club may have a set of bylaws it's been working off of for many years, or you may not know if they even exist or if you have them. So I would recommend, as a club officer, especially the president, take a look at these to see what you're doing. So this is the document, basically. It updates every year. For example, here's our vision and mission statement I went over a little bit ago, but basically all the stuff for organizing a club. And we're not going to read it all because it's good to, if you need to go to sleep, some of it's really good for you to take a nap. But anyway, if you have any questions about the way your club should be operated, this is the document. different kinds of memberships, you know. See, this is just the added, the discounted membership. There's a variety of discounted memberships available now. The family membership, where any family members living at the same residence qualifies for a discounted. So, you know, when you sign up your wife and your kids and that are living at your house, then you could get a discounted membership from International. So there's that. It's like I said, it contains types of membership, dues, managing funds, which is one of the big deals that Lions Club requires clubs to do. Is one of the requirements is that you have two, and we'll go into this in treasurer in detail, but you basically need to have two accounts. You have a public money account, which is called activities, and a club account, which is, what do I call it? I forgot off the top of my head what it's called.
Admin.
Admin. And the deal with Lions is that any money you make from the public, raffles, fundraisers, however you make your money for the club, that money has to be returned to the public. You cannot use that money to pay for someone's dues. You cannot use that money to pay for club supplies. You cannot, that money has to be used for public funds. You can pay for fundraising costs out of that public money. In other words, if you sell raffle tickets, the cost of printing a raffle tickets can be taken from the public funds, but your club operational stuff cannot be used for the public. And the nicest thing about that is your club can say, money we take in from the public gets returned 100% to the public. You know, so that's why that's one of the big things that they push. All right. Club success. And there's a lot of indicators of successful club. Is your membership declining? Is your membership growing? Meaningful service projects. What are you doing? I want to have everybody talk a little bit here about your club and your club service projects. I'll start. I said we don't do a lot, but we do some. We do some really cool ones. We do flags for first graders. I love that. Going to the school, we'll get a chance to talk to first graders about the flag. We also do, of course, Dave Falcon, the guru of Plus Optics in Montana, is in our area. So we do a lot of eye screenings, helping Dave out with them here. That's another fun project. We have a local Lions Park that it's no longer ours. It was deeded to the city many years ago, but we do a cleanup every spring. Those are some of our projects that we do. I want to go through everybody and tell me one or two projects your club does. So Jack Beckman, we'll start with you. You're in the high upper corner. Tell me your favorite project your club does. You're muted.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
I'm not muted now, right?
No, you're not. Good.
Okay, there you go. So our club is pretty active. We have several things that became fundraisers also, but the one, and I think all clubs have recycling and, glasses recycling. And then we don't really limit it just to school kids, but it seems like most of our glasses applications and come from people who are come for kids, but we don't limit it to that. I mean, it can be from adults or whatever in the community that are unable to pay for things. We have an application process for that. We maintain a roadside park out of town here, about 40 miles, that just became a club project. And we do quite a bit of work with Montana School of the Deaf and Blind. That is not a district project. That is, we did a project to redo their site directory sign here a little while ago. Yeah, and it goes on and on. I guess I'll leave it to others. But that, I mean, we're a pretty active club, and if I was to say anything, it would be that we don't do enough social activities. So it's kind of one of those things that our club does a lot of business, but we need to have a little more fun together. There you go.
All right, thanks.
Mhm.
Jack Mattingly, what's your favorite project your club does?
We've done the flags for the first graders for years, and highway cleanup. And we just started today a new project. We're working with the Blaine County Museum doing an oral history project.
Oh, cool.
And so 4 of us were trained today, and several more next week to start going out and interviewing folks and keeping the history of the area alive.
Excellent. That sounds cool. Mr. Raleigh Pack.
Well, like everybody else, we all love the flags for first graders. That's got to be the most fun, and the plus optics is a big deal. I enjoy the highway cleanup a lot, but the things that we don't do enough of, I feel, is the hands-on stuff. Last summer we did a thing with the city parks department. We re-tinned the underside of a picnic shelter at one of the city parks. And those types of things are just the most fun, gratifying. You actually build something, get something done.
Great, thank you. Corey.
So we're traditionally we've been focused on a financial support process. We have 4 designated organizations here in Helena that we support monetarily, and we're trying to add in volunteer time. Like Florence Crittenden just had one of their big fundraisers, and we had some folks volunteer at that event. So we're trying to get our name out there in different ways. We partner with the Helena Alliance for the Plus Optics piece, focusing on youth and adult both, and then take on Montana Sight and Hearing Foundation applications if we can. And in the last year, we've had a kind of a shift in mentality for the volunteer piece of it. So we're looking at opportunities with Prickly Pear Land Trust, which has a significant amount of public land out here they manage. So we're looking at doing a work day with them. The local food share doing kids packs. And then we're toying with the idea of doing a ATV poker run this summer out of the Sunshine Camp that's owned by the Helena Lions. So those are kind of some of the things that we're trying to work on.
Oh, that sounds good. Great. Brandy.
Well, we do a number of kind of different things. We recently, the last couple of years, we set up basically raised funds to redo a playground, a city playground. So we completely redid a playground, and it's been wonderful, very, very popular with the public. So that was one of our big things that we've been working on. But every year we also do, we team up with the Walleyes Unlimited Club here in town, and we sponsor basically where people put up their Christmas lights, and then we go around with the Walleyes Unlimited folks, and we choose the top ones that we think, and then people basically get some chamber dollars for it to use in local businesses. So that was fun. We do an annual pancake breakfast every year, which is a big fundraiser for us and great for the community. People love it. We also we serve chili for free to the public during our Christmas stroll, which is a town-wide event. And we also cook food for the cowboys and cowgirls at our stampede on one of those days when they're having their morning practices, I guess you could say. We also cook food for our local tournaments in town too. So we do quite a few things. But obviously the flags for the first graders, and we've sponsored the dogs. I just totally went blank on what we call that. And we also do highway cleanup. And yeah, just help out with other clubs. We've teamed up with our local optimists as well. So we try to collaborate together here.
All right, great. Karina,
Hey, so Anna's yeah, do a lot of the things that were already mentioned. One thing that we do that's a little different, I haven't heard other places, is I guess it's called a shed sale, where we take gently used furniture and appliances from the community and have them at a storage shed and kind of do a monthly garage sale. So it keeps things out of the landfill, number one, for the the environmental part of it, but then also it's a great fundraiser. I think this year we exceeded $30,000 over the year with that. Then my favorite community betterment project is our Lions Club Park. We have big, 3 acres of park that has a fishing pond and playgrounds and 2 ball fields, and we completely maintain that. And one of the fun activities we have is a Father's Day fishing derby for the kids 12 and under, and lots of prizes. And those are probably my 2 favorite fundraisers and projects.
all right, Steve.
Yeah, like everybody's saying, we do a lot of the same stuff. Some of the different things. Well, for the Plus Optics, we do all of Carbon County, for little kids and homeschooled and those going into driver's ed classes, etc. Our big fundraiser is a trip of the month, which basically gives us the money to do everything else that we do, including over $10,000 in grants and scholarships. We have a fun run at the Lions Club Park that ends up at the Lions Club Park every summer, and we cook up to about 800 hamburgers as a everybody that get out and healthy running, we give them a hamburger afterwards.
All right, excellent, thank you. Lindsay, I think you got here, you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself either.
I did briefly. So I'm from the
Oh, okay.
Bozeman Sweet Pea Lions.
Oh, that's right.
Group.
Yeah, you did.
Yep. We partner a lot with Hope in the Holidays, and so we do a big golf scramble to raise money and toys for that fundraiser. And then we also work really closely with the setup and distribution of the toys come Christmas time. We do some like senior meal packing with the food bank, and we always volunteer like around Thanksgiving for the Thanksgiving packs. We do concessions for youth football and track meets. And we try to do little service meeting get-togethers where we, like our last one, we made little Valentine goodie bags for the nursing homes.
Excellent. All right, so 6 element of club success, basically communicate effectively with the members and with the public, net growth in membership, new activities. Events are held regularly, meaningful and positive. Club officers participate in zone and district leadership training. Here we are tonight. Good job. Club is in good standing, meaning basically you're paying your dues and doing your secretary is doing your reports. So there are, again, there's a whole bunch of information available. These are just an overview of there's a blueprint for a stronger club. There's a deal called the Club Quality Initiative, and there is Your Club Your Way. I will continue either include these documents or links to these documents and a bunch of other documents in the email I send afterwards. So you guys can take a look at this stuff. There's a huge amount of things out there that Lions has to take a look at. Just take some of your initiative to go out and find them and take a look at them. The reason I asked that we have that little session is because great ideas, you've hopefully heard something that other clubs are doing that maybe your club might want to do. But we all do a lot of the same things also, but some ideas about projects, getting people in your club to do hands-on projects. So, I don't know if you guys caught on that. I asked about your favorite projects to your club, and we all drifted into fundraising a little bit because we should be very proud of it, and we do some great fundraising. But and you get people involved in your club doing the fundraising, but that's not the hands-on service activities that really generate the feel-good projects where members can feel really good about serving the community.
Mike,
Yes.
make one comment. We have in our area a district disaster person for Red Cross,
Oh, okay.
and she came by and spoke to our club. And one thing that maybe the other clubs would get out of this is they provide free smoke detectors, and they're always looking for help to put them in.
Oh,
And so if you contact that person, and everybody can they can go on the district website and get my email. If they contact me, I'll send them back the information on the person and the whatever. And if it isn't in her district, then she would pass it off to somebody else. But so we have a project come up where we have like 18 of them to put in. It's not a big deal. I mean, putting in a smoke detector really doesn't take much. But I think they try to put out like 3-man teams, but that would be available to anybody and everybody as a work project.
how does your club, again, do your club's projects, your service projects excite your members? Or it's just, because that's how we keep and get people into our clubs. And basically a lot of clubs like mine, we've been doing all this stuff for years. And sometimes we need to ask the question of the community, what do you want us to do? And that's this community's needs assessment. So basically it's a way for you to go out to your community. Typically you would look at yourself first. So what are our club's strengths and challenges? What areas motivate our clubs to serve? What are specific community needs? And how do you find out those? Well, sometimes you need to approach the community. A lot of times you can go to, the city council, a variety of your local city governments and find out what the community thinks they might need as a way to approach getting a new project. This is actually what this is called is an activity service toolkit that is available. They have these for certain specifics too. Diabetes, they have toolkits to do a diabetes screening. So it walks you through the process. How many people do you think it'll need? What will you need? How to do it. These are really slick little deals on a variety of stuff. So this one is basically finding out what the community might need if you're looking for something new or different to do. Anyway, these activity planners are really handy little deals. Yes, Brandy.
Yes, I just wanted to, something else that we do regularly that I guess is a community project that is very popular with the community is we have a horseshoe a number of horseshoe pits out at one of our parks, and people play horseshoes around here like crazy. So this year we are basically refitting those pits with wood and making them look good, filling them with sand and everything like they're supposed to be, and redoing them so that they can continue to be usable for people in our community. So that's just kind of a little side gig that I kind of forgot about, that is definitely a project that we take on that benefits the community.
That's cool. I like that. All right, meetings. Hopefully there's nobody doing that right now. I've been watching just in case. A lot of clubs are diminishing meetings. We used to meet weekly. We now meet twice a month. I have a good and bad about that. You know, some clubs used to have a formal greeter to greet people when they came in. You know, hopefully in your club, when somebody walks in the door, they say, "Hi, Mike, how you doing? Did you have a nice vacation?" Et cetera, et cetera. But we want to make sure you try to involve everybody. Your club have name tags. Your club may be around long enough that everybody knows everybody, but newer people especially. Community service is our reason for existing. Keep it in mind at all times. And then have some fun. Our club, how many clubs? I know Raleigh Club does have speakers at your meetings. You guys have guest speakers?
And
Still
pretty
do
much
that?
every meeting, that's kind of our thing is
Yep.
we have a presenter at every one.
We do most of ours. We have a few good of the order where we talk about some of our planning takes longer, but we always like to have some guest speakers from the community. Anybody else?
We do periodically, you know, if somebody comes and they want to propose something to us, they will come to our meeting. And yes, we do ever so often.
Good. I think it makes it very interesting to get people to the meeting, so.
I don't, as far as Sunrise is concerned, we meet twice a month, and the first month is business and the second one is presentation. So I think, yeah, when you say business, but a lot of times it's just getting everything lined up for some project we're working on.
Yep.
So, and we found it to be, I mean, that's kind of a good mix for us. Sometimes we don't have a speaker or something, or we'll try to squeeze a little business in, but I don't really think we use our board as much as we could or should. We tend to do all that at the meeting, so everybody's in, you know, everybody's in the groove as to what's going on.
So does everybody have a pretty active tail twister anymore?
We have a fair guy. I wouldn't say he's great, but he's good.
I'm the one for our club currently.
And we got somebody in there right now that's doing a great job. And we actually played with paddle balls today as our tail twisting activity. So really brief fun, but everybody had a little competition to see how many times you could hit the ball. So just little things like that to change things up and make it interesting, so you don't get the same as the last slide shows. Anyway, all right. So we're going to talk again. I said I was going to talk briefly about the LCI, and this is all going to change someday. It was supposed to be in place by now, the new system. It's been delayed again. I don't know if we even have a date anymore, Raleigh, do they? No. So we're still using the same system. And we're going to go there in a minute. If you guys, as club officers, you all can have an account here. for, you know, the secretary, it's super important that the secretary be on this. And the treasurer, you know, you get some of your, now you download your, they still do, I don't even know if they're doing billing by mail anymore. Your club bills are all electronic, I believe. There's also, you can shopping. I have my own feelings about that, but, and this insight thing is really interesting. So we're gonna jump over there. So is everybody still, you can still see this access your Lions account on your screen? Okay, great. I have a nifty deal called a password manager, so I don't have to remember all my passwords. But if you have not created yourself an account here, down at the bottom, it says don't have an account, and there's a register button. The only thing you will need your membership ID, which you hopefully is your treasurer or secretary has printed out membership cards, and your ID is on that. So you would put your first, last name, membership ID, and get an account set up here. If you have not yet, I would do that, and anybody can get their account set up, whether you're an officer or not. What you can do inside of it will change depending on what your role is.
Highly recommend everybody get signed
Yes,
up on there.
absolutely.
It's imperative if you're a club officer.
Yes, very important. Again, this is all, everybody's gonna get taken to this screen. What you can do from this point depends on, wonder why the portal is not loading tonight. Interesting. We got a good secretary, and this actually has stuff in it, because he enters things in here for our club. Excuse me. So my lion is where
Mike,
this,
that's a question I have.
yes,
So with this GST position / service chairperson, is there some guidance out there? I think we're missing maybe some guidance on how to leverage these service metrics. I've got 2 other club members with me that we're trying to work through it, but we're kind of fumbling around a little bit because we're trying to figure out what is expected of us from the district level and Lions International. I know the criteria and some of it's a little flexible, but are we looking at having some training that focuses on how to really leverage this and get the numbers to back up what we're doing?
well, the training on Thursday is one of the roles of the secretary is to enter that data. That's the my lion here. Because to get anything, to get useful information out of it, somebody's got to be entering the information. So this is where you would enter any of your service and or fundraising activities that your club does. We're not going to go into it in detail because I'm not, number one, I don't have the capability to do that. See, I can't add anything because I'm not a club secretary, or you can actually have 2 people in your club with capability to do the secretarial stuff. There's a club administrator also that you can appoint someone as a backup or as a, to enter. But these activities, that's where you would enter them, where these pluses are. But our secretary has been entering it stuff, so it'll ask you questions like how many people you served, and so that's what this metrics will tell you. One of the most important parts of it, looks like the system is not behaving itself tonight,
Yeah. I was getting the same thing.
which is not unusual. Unfortunately, the important part of having someone entering your service and fundraising activities is that it's a gauge. Number one, when you get your Lions magazine, and you see that listing of all the stuff that clubs have been doing in it, and there's even articles, that's where they get this stuff. For example, the Whitefish Lions Club, a few years back when they reformed, started a project of a community farm, which basically they grew everything in the farm and gave it to the schools for the school programs to use. They reported their activity back in the days when it was done differently, and Lions Club picked that up, and they actually ended up with several articles and a video that International did based on their program. That's one of the big things. That's where that stuff comes from in the Lions magazine, is here when it functions. The other thing that when Lions does these partnerships, for example, they partnered with the Gates Foundation to do the measles project. Got a huge amount of money from Gates. Well, Gates Foundation says, well, what do you guys do? And here they can give this solid number. We served so many people. We did this. We did, So when they're trying to get international or partners for at the upper levels, they use that information. And you can, unfortunately, it's not very happy tonight. So we can't look at this stuff, but that's the biggest part of doing it. Plus it gives you some ideas. You can go back to your club and do a little report out of here saying, our club has done this year. We've served so many people. You can tell your community. And again, Thursday show focus a lot. It's actually a 2-hour scheduled for 2-hour session, and show focus a big part on both this section, especially this section. My LCI is basically where the secretary and the treasurer would be using. The president has access to all this, but there's nothing really mandatory. But this is where they report. You would enter people, drop people, transfer members, that type of information is where this section is done. Depending on who you are and what your role is, you get different access and all these kind of things. This is kind of really cool. This is if you're into statistics and stuff, this has stuff from, so I talked about constitutional areas. So the main overview here is, right now we got 1.37 million members, 971 clubs. That's where I got this information. But you can drill down. If you're into looking at numbers and stuff, here's the membership over the last few years, but you can actually drill down to your club level. So we can look at the US membership, and then so you notice all the multiple districts. And because we're a single district, I don't know where we're at. Anyway, it's a really interesting, if you're into this kind of thing, there's a whole bunch of information. There's District 37. So then it tells us our current numbers, our current clubs. You can look at the activities. It's a really slick little deal. Shop. So this is where if you needed a new bell, or actually there's lots of bells. This is where you can do. The only big problem with Lions Club International is they charge an outrageous amount of shipping for stuff. I don't know why they can't come up with a better deal. But if you need a legitimate, we have a park here and somebody stole the big ground lion sign off our park. So I had to order a new one, so that's where that's where you get that kind of stuff. Bells, vests. Like I said, the biggest thing the biggest thing is, I think the shipping is absurd, but hey, that's my opinion, so you get an extra opinion for it. Anyway,
You're gonna buy stuff, order a bunch to make it worth your
Yep.
while.
make it
On
worth the
those
shipping.
signs, I've seen a lot of clubs just go to their local sign people
Mhm.
and just make new ones, because you can download the images and they can
Right.
work with that. Costs a lot less to do things like that.
Yeah, and their prices in general aren't too bad. It's the shipping's the worst hit. But anyway, that's the shop, and then the other. So the other part on here is really important related to this, is the learning center. So there's online training. You'll notice, see in here I entered these local interests, and that's where I'll put that you attended this. And also will go in your permanent record that you attended this training. But the online training, if it's working, come on. So there's a huge online training stuff, and they have their own session. They're not related to our local stuff. But there are training for presidents, treasurers, club secretary, learning path. So they have club officer training, which is I based kind of this off. And then the club secretary training. So there's they're good classes on stuff.
Highly recommended that.
Yes, and then if
It
you're looking,
almost should be required for club officers to go in
Absolutely.
there and
I agree. The other part of Raleigh mentioned the Montana Lions website, so you can just Google or montanalions.org, and we actually have links in here that get you to LCI where I was, Sight and Hearing Foundation, LCIF, and then there's this one on the bottom called Lions University. Lions University is an offshoot of the USA Canada Lions Leadership Forum. If you ever get an opportunity, and there's a close one, there was one in Spokane and one in Calgary over the last few years. Amazing learning opportunity. They basically it's 3 days of all these seminars and classes, and you choose what your areas you're interested in. And you meet Lions from all over the United States and Canada. It's a fabulous event. Anyway, that's tied to this, but you can register here. You don't have to be part of the forum or anything else. You can just go here and register, sign up. Once you have that, you can log in. Oop. Didn't give me to that. Anyway, so they have these programs called the bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. The bachelor's program is basically a series of classes designed around club officer stuff. There's Lions history, club structure. I wonder where some of this came from. Club success, effective meetings. So you take these classes, they're just a video. For most of them are just a video. A lot of them were filmed at USA Canada Forum videos, and then you take a little quiz. If you actually want to get your bachelor's, and then they have electives. So president, secretary, you know, all these you have to take, how many electives? At least 5 electives. You can get your Lions University bachelor's degree by doing this stuff and then going to a USA Canada forum. So you got to attend 1 forum to get your bachelor's, 2 forums. The master's is district related, managing district stuff, but there's still a lot of really good courses in there. Highly recommend this. I'm sure Raleigh does too.
Oh, absolutely. I've been through a lot of them. It's really good info. If I can give another pitch to the USA Canada Forum,
Sure, absolutely.
that's where they have the best apparel, the coolest stuff that you cannot get at the shop online.
Yeah.
You have to go to the forum.
And you don't have to pay shipping.
And you don't have to pay shipping.
The other thing I want to point out, training related, is under this training resource, and this one will be there probably eventually, is the district manuals. But here we've done videos of training sessions. This example, this is the one I did quite a few years ago. It's going to be a little different than this, but anyway, we have secretary, treasurer. These are recorded, and then thanks to our wonderful district secretary, she and her husband suggested some videos of doing some just the basic stuff. So, for example, the activity reporting, that's the My Lion activity where you list what your club's doing. Here's a video on how to do it if you don't get a chance to do the session. Here's a video on monthly membership reporting, that where you report new members, no change in membership, dropping people, that type of thing. Here's a quick video on how to do the 990 IRS filings. Anyway, so that's that link on this training resources. They're actually on YouTube, but they're linked here. So that's available to you on the montanalions.org. I'll send you links to all this stuff within the next few days. And a sort of final thoughts of clubs. I mentioned this. Should your club have a board of directors or not? The one nice thing about having a board is, especially if your club's big enough, then you don't have to you can have board meetings to do the nitty gritty, approve your budgets, to do those type of things without having to have it take up a whole club meeting. Should your club have a budget? And I'm a treasurer of my club, and I do the treasurer section training session. Absolutely, you should have a budget. In my opinion, you shouldn't. Gives you a plan, an idea of what your club should be doing. How often does that discussion come up? We still have regular discussions because some people would like weekly meetings because of the social aspect of it. Does your club have a membership plan? How are we going to get new members? How are we going to keep members? Here's a biggie. Does your club hold new member orientation? Very few clubs do this anymore. Your new members come in and they, you say, hey, well, here we go. And you want to be on a committee or do this or that. You actually do an orientation. What's our club? What's it about? What's international? You got a lot of people in that. Today we talked about Melvin Jones, and I didn't mention Melvin Jones fellowships, but they're one of the higher awards that a club can give to your members. And people say, who's Melvin Jones? You do that type of stuff. Again, these are a couple of, and I'll send you the links. This is a how are your ratings, or a survey for your club. Pretty easy to do and simple. You hand it out and you can get an idea of maybe that how I view my club isn't the way that all the other people view it in it. And this is what's called the Club Quality Initiative. Again, there's Your Club Your Way, Plan for Success. Huge amount of information available on the international website. Club Excellence Award. That's why if you got a good active zone chair, the Club Excellence Award, it requires a growth in membership, a net growth. In other words, you gain one more member than you lose. You can qualify for the Club Excellence and talk about your projects and stuff. Any questions on any of that? Any questions on anything? Get rid of this.
You did a great job, Mike.
Oh,
Thanks.
thanks. Like I said, I've got all your emails addressed. That's why when we have you sign up for this so we can get your email address. So I will be sending out, like I said, a lot of links, information, documents for you guys. If you have any, please ask any questions now, or feel free to get in touch with me. I'll have you'll have my email address, my cell phone number. There's a couple of other things we mentioned that in terms of training that we do. We hold an annual, we call it a leadership retreat in Montana, where we try to, it's a focus on training for leaders in general. Our hope, but not a requirement, is that it takes you further into Lions leadership at the district level. There's no charge for it. We do it generally by invites, but if you know someone in your club that's you think would be interested, we do them in the fall. Right now we don't have our location schedule. Will be meeting shortly, but usually in the fall. And so if you get an invite for that and you don't want to go, but you think someone in your club is get a hold of us and talk to us about it. Brandy.
I just was kind of curious on how often all of the clubs on here, how often you meet and what time of the day you typically meet.
Well, go ahead and start. We actually meet at noon, and we meet twice a month, second and fourth Tuesdays. Go ahead, Jack Beckman.
So there are 3 clubs in Great Falls. 2 of them are suffering serious problems, you might say, with membership. But the one club used to meet, which was the downtown club. It was a business club when it was first formed from all the businesses downtown, and it met every week, which was really too often. We meet twice a month, which is on the second and fourth Tuesday in the morning. And the other club met on the first and third Monday in the evening. So the one good thing is that we didn't have any conflict. You could join one of the clubs regardless of when you could meet if you were interested in joining Lions.
Go ahead, Jack.
Mattingly.
Yep. Now we meet once a month now. We changed our meeting time to 6:30 and did away with meals after we started getting in younger members with young families, and they wanted to have the evening meal with their family. And so we changed our membership now is actually, most of them are under 40. So
that's great.
It was profitable for us to make that change.
I'm just curious, Jack. These younger people, do you let them bring their kids to meetings?
We haven't had them bring them to the meetings, but we have a couple of them that might happen because their spouse wants to join. And so it's no big deal. Where we meet, there's plenty of space. So
Great. And Raleigh?
We meet twice a month, second and fourth Mondays at noon. Just as a point of reference, International recommends at least twice a month, but they said your club, your way, do it how you want. And another neat thing I've seen is a lot of things going out there about the club branch. If you're having trouble getting people you got a group of people that can't make it to a meeting, let them form a branch club and meet at a different time. It all works.
All right, Corey.
We meet the first Thursday of the month for our general club meeting. We do have one club member who brings his 13-year-old daughter. She's welcomed into the club, has her own ID card, RD tag and everything.
All right.
And then our officers meet probably the third week. It's kind of flexible because that club meeting is at 6 o'clock and we have dinner and we do everything right there together. But the officers meet kind of at the discretion in the third week to talk through the details.
All right. And what about your club, Brandy?
We have typically met weekly at noon. And we've had some interest from younger members. And so they've wanted to meet in the evening because they said that works better for them. So we've been basically doing three or four times a month, the noon times, and then once a month, which is a Wednesday evening, we'll do an evening one. The long time members aren't really a fan of the evening one, but it seems like we are getting younger folks to come in the evening. So I just was curious because I kind of was thinking once a week seemed like a lot. And I know it seems almost like it's more of a, get together session kind of a thing. It's, there's not really a lot to talk about. And so I've been wondering if it's something that we need to talk about, maybe trying to do maybe twice a month instead of weekly.
Karina, you guys meet
Yeah, Ennis meets twice a month in the evenings. Let me see, what is it? Second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. And the board meeting meets the first Wednesday at 6:15. I don't know. It seems like twice a month is generally good if we stay on topics. Sometimes the agendas are big and it gets to be long meetings, and that's not good. That's not well received. So
yeah,
it depends on, if you have a lot of business, you might have to have, I don't know. You have to have your committees be concise with their reports so that smoother.
And Lindsay, any comments on what your club does?
Sorry, I'm making Valentine's cookies with my daughter, so I'm multitasking.
We all expect them now.
Yeah, last minute is how we roll. We meet twice a month as well, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. The really nice thing that we started doing, like kind of when COVID hit, is virtual meetings, which are awesome. Because if anybody's sick or out of town or, busy with kids or whatever, they can pop into the virtual meeting and still join in.
Oh, thanks, Sherry.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, we meet twice a month on Tuesdays, and we usually meet in the evenings, but we decided this year, from the time change in the fall to the time change in the spring, we're going to meet at noon because we meet downtown, and some of us old people don't like to be out in the dark. So, but yeah, we meet twice a month.
All right, thanks, Steve.
You know, we meet once or twice a month, depending on if we have a big presentation from somebody. Sometimes it's hard to scrounge up somebody to do that. And then board meetings are as needed.
All right.
And it
So-
is in the evening as well.
And one of the things I'm a bit OCD about is starting and ending meetings on time. And so it is 8:30. Unless anybody has any real major comments they want to make, I'm gonna go ahead and thank you all very much for attending.